Hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show. I'm your host, Dominic Konoweski. We have SK Modified driver Woody Pitkat on. Woody, how you doing? Thank you for coming on and welcome to the New York Sports Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. Once again, thank you for being on, folks. It is an honor to have Woody Pitkat on. Stafford Speedway legend, 78 wins there in just so many different divisions. You won in 3 out of the 5 weekly divisions there. What division do you feel like is your favorite?
I'd probably have to say the SK Modified, just because of the prestige that's there at the Speedway and the competition. And I think the competition there is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest, division to race, all across the country. So you have, on any given night, you have probably 15 to 17 drivers that can win. So, I grew up running the dare stocks there and then ran late models, and I still run late models from time to time, and that's something that I like to do because usually I'm just doing that, a couple races a year, so there's no pressure, there's no points or anything involved with that. So I also like to do that, but the SK Modified at Stafford is where it's at.
Yeah, 30 SK Modified wins, 8-time popular driver, and like you said, late models, 48 model wins, 2-time champion, and once again, an 8-time most popular driver in the late model division. Absolutely unbelievable. 3 street stock wins, 2 wheel and tour wins, and 1 open modified win. Absolutely crazy record. Definitely a legend. What do you have to say to that with people calling you a legend?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I don't really think about it that much, And I mean, obviously it's a huge honor, and I kind of forget about it until you look at it because you've been racing for so long, and year after year I've been, traveling with the tour and stuff, and with having a family and stuff now and moving up to Massachusetts, I haven't been able to race Stafford on a weekly basis the last few years, but it is definitely just a huge honor, and very humbled to be able to be up there. I know Keith Rocco is, right on my toes and probably be passing me soon. But it's just a really, really cool honor, really, because you never really think about that when you start racing. You just go there to win races and have fun. And to be able to see your name up there, almost 25 years later when I started racing, it's just really, really, like you said, I don't know if I'd say that I'm a legend, but it's just a huge honor.
Yeah, and like I said, it's an honor to have you on. Now, you mentioned the wheel and tour, 4 wins there. It seems like no matter what car you're in, you just have success in it. 4 wheel and tour wins, 28 top 5s and 79 top 10s. You've raced at many, many different tracks. Which track would you say is your favorite overall?
Yeah, I like Loudon, New Hampshire is a lot of fun because I feel like it's kind of like our Daytona for the modified division. And what I mean with that is like when you watch Daytona or Talladega, with the Monster Energy Cup cars, they do a lot of drafting, side drafting and passing all the time, and you see multiple leaders throughout a lap, and that's kind of what we do when we race Loudon. The lead can change, 3 or 4 times a lap, and we do a lot of drafting and bump drafting and stuff. So Loudon's always one of my favorite places that I like to go to. Bristol, when we used to go to Bristol, I used to like to run that. That was a track where it felt like you were always kind of on the edge of out of control. You were never felt like you were comfortable. You're kind of like always just on the edge every lap. So that was something that I always liked to do. And then obviously Stafford, my home track, the tracks that I grew up racing, Stafford and Thompson. And then there's this one track that I think it's closed now that we used to go to once a year. It was Concord Motorsports Park down there in Concord. Was a really cool track with a dog leg on the back stretches. Is something that I really like to go to.
That's really, really cool to hear. You don't really get to hear that side of drivers, so that's really cool to hear that. Now, do you have a favorite memory or really something that sticks out when you look back on your very long racing career that you're still doing, is there really anything that sticks out?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like when I first started racing Loudon, I mean, growing up younger as a kid, I would go to Loudon and watch races. This was, when I was, real young. I would go with a guy that raced late models at Stafford, Jimmy Peterson, and just to watch the cars on that track, it was like, wow, like you never could even imagine or dream that one day you'd be able to race on that track. So, growing up, I got into late models and full fender, never really thought I'd be out on that track because I wasn't really a modified guy until I got an opportunity. And then when I did run a modified the first couple times at Loudon, I felt like I struggled really bad. It was a place that I liked, but I just couldn't really figure out the whole, drafting. Like there's a lot going on in your mind. Each and every lap, there's a lot going on that you have to think about. The draft, when you should pull out the pass, when not to pull out, who to go with. You get your spotter talking to you. You're trying to look ahead to see what's going on a couple spots ahead of you. Just a lot of stuff going on. So when I finally was able to win at Loudon, was a really huge accomplishment because winning there, just being in victory lane in front of that crowd and everything, it's like no other. Even to win at Bristol would be kind of the same thing. And then I was fortunate enough. I wouldn't say I'm like best friends with Joey Logano, but I'm kind of have a friendship with him and talk to him from time to time. And to see him come running down into victory lane after I won was really cool. So that's one of a big memory that I have to say that sticks right out. And then the other one being to win the Stafford Spring Sizzler with the tour car at Stafford. Just growing up, my hometown was Stafford, so I grew up 6 miles from the track and went there, since I was a toddler. So to be able to go there and win in front of my hometown and just seeing the prestige of the Spring Sizzler and everybody that's won that race, to be able to have my name on that trophy, to me is another huge honor.
That is truly amazing, and like you said, so many drivers try to win the Spring Sizzler, can't do it. You ended up doing it. Congratulations with you on that. Now, like I said, you've raced in so many different kinds of cars. Which one do you feel like is the easiest to drive?
I mean, as of late, I feel like any open wheel car, a good car, to me, I feel like they're pretty easy, just because of the fact that nowadays everybody has such good equipment. They have, the resources. They have the best stuff. On the tour, we kind of have the same rules where everybody kind of, for the most part, has the same chassis. We have all the same engine and shocks and stuff. So they're almost kind of like, to me, they're like a big go-kart. They're light, they're low to the ground, they got big tires. And, I've obviously had the opportunity to surround myself with really good people, really good crew members and crew chiefs and car owners, where I've had really good cars that would handle, pretty much 80 or 90% really, really well when we unload. So to me, I have to say pretty much any of the open wheel modified stuff that I get into, to me, is the easier out of like running, the late models and the act late models and everything else that I've run in the past.
Yeah, modifieds are the best. No one could deny that. Now, for those who don't know, the New York Sports Show actually had the honor and the privilege to sponsor Woody's Call for the Tri-Track Modified event a few months ago at Stafford. Could you take us through that race? Of course, the day was cut short.
Yeah, I meant to reach out to you. I kind of owe you an apology for that race, because I know you wanted to interview me before the day got started, and that day was...
yeah, that's okay.
It's just a day that kind of, I would say, a day from hell, kind of. We were running around chasing a bunch of stuff, and I felt bad because I never got an opportunity to sit down and give you 5 minutes to do an interview. So I apologize for that. But
no, that's okay.
As you were saying, it was a rough day. We unloaded, and obviously we had high expectations because we had won the Twisted T80 race there. A month or two prior to that, which is another huge accomplishment that another honorary mention that I could throw up there was winning that race for Dan Mertz, my car owner, who's more of a low buck guy that does it all on his own. So we thought that we were going to, we had high expectations and thought we were going to be really good, and we were chasing a skip in the motor in practice and even in the heat race. And, it was had a little bit of pressure on us because it was 54 cars there for 28 or 30 spots to qualify, so we definitely wanted to make the show. But we got the skip out of it for the race, and I thought we were going to be pretty good. We started in the top 5 and was right around in third and had a pit stop 30 laps into the race, and we came in and got our tires and made our adjustments, and we were ready to show everybody what we had. And unfortunately, we got into a jingle on the backstretch. I think something happened with Doug Hovey on the restart, and he didn't get up to speed, and I kind of just tried to square up my bumper and try to hit everybody square in case we were going to get into a little bit of a jingle, and I ended up getting, kind of run over from behind and up on the wall and kind of almost flipped over, half flipped, and was underneath the side of John McKinney's car. So it kind of ended not so good. I had to try to figure out how I was going to get out of the car at that point because I had seen some fuel coming out of the carburetor, out of the air cleaner. So it kind of just made a point that I was going to get out of the passenger side no matter what I had to do. So I had to get around the headrest to do that, but I was able to get out, no problem, and show it to my family and my kids and everybody that I was all right. And it just was a crappy ending to the season because, like I said, we had high expectations and we had just made our changes and put our new tires on it. So we were, wanting to see what we had for the last 50 laps and never got the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Oh well. Thankfully, of course, you were okay. I was there. I saw the wreck. Very scary wreck. Very happy that you were able to walk away from that. Now, like you say, you haven't really raced at Stafford that much in the recent years. Do you see yourself doing at least one more full-time season in one of the divisions?
I could possibly see that. I live like an hour away from the track, but with the traveling and everything that I got going on, I could see, within the next, I don't know, eventually, you don't really know. You just play it year by year. But obviously my kids are going to be growing up. I have a daughter that I kind of miss some time with, didn't get to do stuff with that I don't want to miss doing with my sons when they start growing up. So I would have to think that would probably put me back to running weekly on a Friday night at Stafford if the stars were aligned. But that's, like I said, that's still something that I don't see doing for at least the next probably, 4 or 5 years. But I would have to say I'd like to do that. I'd like to be able to race there on a weekly basis and go back to, seeing my home fans from, just from growing up, and then, be close to home for my kids and my family to come see me race too.
Yeah. Well, if you do go back full-time, we will love to see you back, and I'd love to have you back on. Is there anything else you would like to say to the people watching this video?
No, just, thank everybody for taking the time to watch the video, and like I always try to say when I get to get online and talk to people, I just, very grateful for the opportunities that I've had throughout the years, and still, to this day, I want to be able to do it without the great sponsors and the great crew members and car owners and all the teams that I have. So I'm just very grateful for everybody, and I'm looking forward to getting going 2021.
Yeah. Thank you for being on, folks. Once again, that is SK Modified driver Woody Pitkat on. Woody, thank you for being on the New York Sports Show.